Kamdot muvak, nya Kelly mulik. Greetings, my name is Kelly, dan yipnaush Luis.
Shamai chuig wusamwi. Anya napchugig Luis. Greetings, my name is Luis, and welcome to our O'odham and Piipaash Living Languages series, New Words.
In the first video of this series, Luis, we briefly touched upon the fact that the meanings of words can and do change over time.
Yes, this is called a semantic change. In any language, individual words often have a range of meaning, and that range can be flexible.
In Piipaash, the word for knife is cuero, but this word can also mean wire, iron, or metal in general. Is that what you mean when you say word meanings can be flexible?
Yes, that's a great example of a word that has a range of meaning. It's the same in O'odham. Vainum means knife, but it can also mean wire, iron, or metal. We think this word may have originally referred to shiny metallic-looking rocks like mica schist, as evidenced by mountain names where it is prevalent. The O'odham name for Paestawa Peak in Phoenix is Vainum Doag. If that's accurate, then the meaning of this word has changed over time. That's semantic change.
That's interesting, but this series is about new words. What does semantic change have to do with this topic?
In the bigger picture, we're really examining how speakers apply strategies to develop words they need to communicate. With semantic change, it's about repurposing existing words so that they can be used in new ways. Actually, all the processes we've talked about so far have included some aspect of repurposing existing words so that they can be used in new ways.
Now that you mention it, I guess that's true. So changing a word's meaning is just another way of upgrading something that already exists. Do all languages do this?
Yes, semantic change is a process of any living language. In our first video of this series, I used the English word viral as an example. The original meaning was restricted to disease and infection, but has now extended to mean anything that is shared widely and rapidly. For example, I hope this video goes viral.
Yes, I remember that example. I can think of a Piipaash word that's similar. The word chanak means necklace, but today it can mean collar or necktie. It seems obvious that the original meaning was necklace. Shirts with collars and neckties didn't come in until much later.
That's a perfect example. We can study words like this and see how the meaning of a word has changed over time. Word meanings can change in different ways.
What do you mean exactly when you say they can change in different ways?
The English example I provided and the Piipaash example you provided is an example of what we call semantic extension. In other words, the meaning of the word has become more inclusive than its earlier meaning.
Can you think of any more O'odham words that have extended their meanings to include something new?
Sure. The O'odham word for lightning flash is vupagi. Today, the word vupagi has extended its meaning to include a lot of things, for example, like electricity or even batteries.
Oh yeah, it's the same with Piipaash. Lightning is hurav, but now it's used in reference to electricity or batteries. So it's pretty obvious that word meanings can expand. In what other ways can meanings change? Can they go in the opposite direction too?
Yes, absolutely. Word meanings can sometimes narrow. In Middle English, the word girl used to mean a child or young person. Eventually, its meaning narrowed to young females. The English word meat used to mean food of any kind. Today, its meaning has narrowed to food that is the flesh of an animal. I have a good example of an O'odham word that has both expanded and narrowed over time. The O'odham word gat originally meant bow. The meaning of this word expanded to include firearms after they were introduced. Eventually, firearms became more common and the use of bows declined. At that point, the meaning narrowed again to the point where most O'odham speakers primarily think of a firearm when they hear the word gat. Now when referring to a bow, it's almost necessary to say gat, which sounds like you're saying the stick or wood gun.
It's the same with Piipaash. The original word for bow is utish, but today most Piipaash speakers think of a firearm when they hear this word. Now if you want to refer to a bow, speakers will say I utish, which sounds like you're saying the stick or wood gun. Some call it nilam utish, which sounds like you're saying a Native American gun. So meanings of words can expand and narrow. Are there other kinds of possible changes?
Yes. One type of change I do want to discuss is a metaphorical extension. A metaphorical extension expands the meaning of a word in a new direction through a metaphorical comparison.
Whoa, hold on there. This isn't a linguistics class. Let me wrap my mind around that. I know a metaphor is a word or a phrase that isn't literal. It's more like comparing something to something else.
Yes, a metaphorical change is when you apply a word to something else because you notice certain similarities. In doing so, the word takes on additional meaning. A good example in English is the word mouse. This is a very old word referring to a small rodent. With the invention of computers, this word has taken on additional meaning. It's now also used in reference to the small handheld device used to move a cursor on a computer screen.
That makes it much clearer. Now I know what you mean. We have a number of those words in Piipaash. When Piipaash speakers first encountered bananas, they didn't have a word for it. They noticed the shape was similar to the fruit of the devil's claw plant that's used for basket weaving. So they called bananas kwachton kulvi, meaning that which resembles devil's claw. Today, many speakers just call bananas kwachton, so this word for devil's claw has metaphorically extended its meaning to banana.
That's a perfect example. They encountered something new and compared it to something they were already familiar with.
I'm sure O'odham has some similar examples, right?
Absolutely. In fact, the O'odham word for banana is a good example. They didn't compare bananas to devil's claw, but they did compare it to another plant they were familiar with. In O'odham, a banana is called hovich. Hovich is really the fruit of a particular yucca plant, but now this word also means banana.
Interesting. It seems that borrowing words, changing their meanings, and using them in new and inventive ways happens all the time. But most people just don't think about it. When I use the English word banana, I don't really think about the word's entire history. I suppose it's the same with O'odham and Piipaash speakers.
That's correct. Often, changes in language occur very gradually or subtly, and people don't really notice. They often assume the language they speak now has always been the same.
That's the whole point of this series, to make people more aware of the changes that occur in every living language. We want to preserve as much of our existing O'odham and Piipaash languages as possible. But when we encounter something new, we really have two choices. We can create new O'odham and Piipaash words the same way our ancestors did, or we can stop being creative and allow English to be the only language in our modern lives. I prefer to nourish our native languages.
I agree. That's a good note to end on. But before we conclude, let's recap the main idea of this episode. Sometimes new words are older words that have been repurposed. The meanings of older words can change to allow speakers to use them in new ways. This process is called a semantic change.
Luis, before we go, let's review the O'odham and Piipaash examples we used in this episode as well.
Great idea! In O'odham, vainum means knife, wire, iron, or metal. Its meaning might have meant mica schist, but expanded to include metal and some objects made of metal. Vupki was originally lightning flash. Its meaning has expanded to include things like electricity and batteries. Gat was originally a bow. Its meaning has expanded to include firearms. Now a bow is more commonly called uusgat. Hovich was originally the fruit of a particular species of yucca plant. Its meaning has expanded to include bananas.
In Piipaash, cuero means knife, wire, iron, or metal. We're not exactly sure of this word's origin, but the meaning has certainly expanded to include new items. Chnak was originally a necklace. Its meaning has expanded to include collars and neckties. Urav was originally lightning. Its meaning has expanded to include electricity and batteries. Utish was originally a bow. Its meaning has expanded to include firearms. Now a bow is more commonly called utish or yelam utish. Kwachton was originally the devil's claw plant. Its meaning has expanded to include bananas.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Living Languages, New Words. Tune in for more episodes. Dova upam.
Yudencha.